Every man who enters my ranch dies. Still want the job? The giant widow's voice was so sharp it felt like it could cut the last hope from a starving man's chest. He looked at the woman, then at his empty hands. I don't got a choice, ma'am. She didn't blink. What's your name, cowboy? Jack Mason. She eyed him up and down, weighing what little life he had left. Helena Blackwood. This is my spread. Pays $50 a month, plus room and board. It's more than anyone in 3 states offers. But if you stay, you'll have to earn every cent. You scared? Jack's tongue stuck to the roof of his mouth. Not of you, ma'am. Maybe of whatever's been killing your men. Her jaw ticked. Accidents, mostly. Tom Bradley got kicked by a horse he'd ridden for years. Miguel Santos fell down a well. One I sealed myself. Billy Crawford shot himself. Cleaning a gun, he kept cleaner than his own teeth. Eddie Pierce just vanished. We found him in Devil's Canyon. Neck broke. That's 4 dead men in 2 years. Jack felt the weight in her voice, the ache, the steel, the loneliness. And you think I'll be number 5. I think you're running from something worse than me, or you'd have turned around already. She leaned closer, her shadow falling over him. But you asked how, not why. That means you're curious, not just desperate. Jack's eyes darted to the cross-marked graves at the edge of the yard. I ain't scared of curses. Just men who think they can do anything and get away with it. She nodded once. Go to the pump, clean up. We got cattle to move before sundown. If you last a week, maybe you'll get a spence of that pay. As Jack bent to pump, icy water shocking his dirt-cracked hands, Helena watched the ridge. Her eyes never stopped scanning for threats. You ever shot a rifle? She asked. He wiped his face. A few times when I had something worth protecting. Good, she said. You'll need it here. Just then, a flash of sunlight, binoculars, or a rifle scope, blinked from the far hills. Jack's skin crawled. Helena's face hardened. Ballard's boys, she muttered. Always watching, always hoping I'll run. Jack squared his shoulders, wiped blood from his lip. What are they after? She jerked her head toward the hills behind the barn. Gold. My husband found, or in those rocks, before someone put a bullet in his back. Been nothing but trouble since. Jack's jaw clenched. You think whoever killed your husband is behind these accidents? I know it, Helena said, her voice like gravel. And they want me gone. Or dead. The sound of horses galloping drew both their eyes to the main road. 3 riders, guns slung low, dust swirling behind them. Helena picked up a battered shotgun, cocked it with one hand, and pointed Jack toward cover. Stay low. Let me do the talking. The men reined in hard near the porch. Their leader, a thin, smiling snake, tipped his hat. Afternoon, Widow Blackwood. Got news for you. Helena leveled a shotgun at his chest. Only news I want is you turning your horses around. The man laughed. Heard you hired yourself another dead man. Jack stepped out, his own nerves shot through with cold anger. This dead man shoots back. One of the riders spat. We just want what's ours. No reason anyone else has to die. Helena's eyes flashed. Then ride. Now! The man's smile vanished. This land's not yours, Helena. Wasn't your husband's, neither. You sign it over, or you won't make it through the winter. Jack watched Helena's knuckles go white on the shotgun. Over my dead body, she said. The leader nodded to his men. Guns came up fast. Shots cracked the silence. Jack dug for cover, firing back, heart thundering. Helena took a bullet to the shoulder, didn't even slow down. She stormed the porch, grabbed one rider by the leg, yanked him off his horse like he was nothing. Bones broke. Jack dropped another with a lucky shot to the thigh. The last rider fled, but Helena picked up the dropped rifle and fired once. His horse bucked, and he hit the dirt. Silence returned, sharp, brutal, smelling of blood and gunpowder. Helena pressed a rag to her bleeding arm, not taking her eyes off Jack. Still want the job? Jack managed a shaky laugh. Now I know why you pay so well. She almost smiled. Help me drag these bodies to the barn. After that, you'll see why nobody stays long. As they worked, Jack's hands trembling from adrenaline and something that felt like destiny. Helena finally let her guard down, just for a breath. My husband was murdered for that gold. Sheriff called it an accident, but I know better. Jack looked up at the woman, who was somehow both invincible and heartbreakingly human. Why keep fighting? She stared at the blood-stained yard, the graves, the gold-rich hills. Because if I leave, the devil wins. And the devil don't deserve this land. That night, as dusk bled into darkness and coyotes howled at the broken moon, Jack helped stitch Helena's wound. She barely flinched, looking him in the eye. "Jack, you can run in the morning," she said, her voice so soft he almost missed it. "But if you stay, you're in this war with me. There's no halfway." He squeezed her hand. "I'm staying. For you. For all the dead men. For something worth fighting for." Helena nodded, eyes shining with something like hope. She leaned in and kissed him, fierce and hungry and alive. "Welcome to the Blackwood Ranch, Jack Mason. Let's see if you're the man who finally breaks the curse." As the night closed in and the first fires flickered on the distant ridge, Jack knew the real war was only beginning. But for the first time in years, he was exactly where he was meant to be. Jack didn't sleep his first night on Blackwood Ranch. He sat by the window, rifle across his knees, watching the black line of the hills for movement. The bodies in the barn were barely cold. The air still smelled of blood, sweat, and Helena's iron will. The darkness pressed so thick against the glass. It felt alive. Outside, the wind howled like a wounded thing. Helena patched her shoulder in silence, her big hand shaking just once when she thought Jack wasn't looking. He wondered how many nights she'd sat alone, gun ready, waiting for the next attack. The weight of her loneliness filled the whole house. Jack felt in his own bones, a gravity pulling him toward her. Every shadow outside seemed to shift. A barn owl screeched. Far off, a coyote yipped, then went suddenly quiet. Jack's pulse wouldn't slow. He replayed the gunfight in his mind. Helena's wild charge, the splinter of bone and the reek of death. The job wasn't about cattle or fences or gold anymore. It was survival. It was war. At dawn, Jack found Helena outside, already saddling her horse one-handed. She tossed him a battered hat, a ghost of a smile on her bruised face. "You ready to work, or you want to run?" Jack slid the hat on. "I'm still here." They rode out together, past a row of rough graves, through grass so high it slapped Jack's boots. Helena's ranch was beautiful in the morning light, but every fence post told a story, splinters from old bullets, scorched marks from fire. Jack saw it all. The stubborn life in the land, the scars, the way Helena's gaze never left the horizon. They moved cattle through the lower pasture, Helena giving orders with the crisp certainty of a general. "Keep it moving. Don't let the old bull cut away." She rode like she was born to it, fearless, powerful. Jack found himself wanting to impress her, wanting to be useful, wanting to be more than another name on a cross. Halfway through the drive, they heard gunshots, 2 sharp cracks from the north. Helena tensed, eyes narrowing. "Ballard's men," she spat. "Or someone wanting us to think so." Jack's grip tightened on his rifle. "We circle back?" Helena nodded. "Stay close. And if you see anyone, shoot to wound first. We need answers more than we need bodies." They rode fast, hooves pounding, dust billowing behind them. As they crested a ridge, they saw the smoke, curling from a small cabin near the old mine. Jack's got twisted. Helena signaled him to dismount. "Follow me, but keep your head down." They crept through the brush, the smell of burned wood and gunpowder thick in the air. At the cabin, 2 horses were tied outside, one limping, one sweating foam. Jack peered through a broken window. Inside, a man lay bleeding on the floor, another searching the shelves, tossing tools and maps into a sack. Helena kicked in the door, shotgun raised. "Drop it." The man spun, a pistol in his hand. Jack fired first, shattering the gun from the man's grip. The sack hit the ground, spilling gold dust and old, yellow papers. Helena grabbed the wounded man by the collar, dragging him into the light. "Who sent you?" she demanded. The man's eyes darted between them, fear and hate warring on his face. "Ballard. He wants the deed. Said you'd hand it over when you saw your new boy die. Jack leaned close. Looks like you picked the wrong morning. The man spat blood, sneered. You can't fight him. He owns the sheriff. He owns half the county. Helena's hand shook as she released him. Not my soul, she growled. And not my land. Jack gathered the scattered papers, maps marked with Blackwood, list of names, a letter with Ballard's signature. Proof. Helena nodded to the second man. Leave. Tell Ballard I'm coming for him next. The man didn't wait to be told twice. He scrambled out the door, disappearing into the trees. As they rode back, Helena was silent, jaw locked, gaze on the horizon. Jack studied her profile, her pain, her pride, her relentless fight. He wanted to ask if she ever regretted staying, but he didn't have to. He saw the answer in every scar on her hands. That night, as thunder rolled in and rain battered the roof, Helena spoke at last. You could still leave, Jack. You got proof now. You could bring the sheriff. You don't owe me anything. Jack shook his head, voice steady. I ain't ever belonged anywhere, Helena. Not till now. I'm tired of running. She stared at him for a long moment. Then quietly, so am I? A crash outside cut through the night. Both grabbed their guns. Jack pushed open the door to find a lantern swinging from the fence post. A message on the ground. A dead snake coiled around the base, its fangs bared. A warning. Jack met Helena's eyes. They're coming. Helena didn't flinch. Then let him come. But Jack saw the truth in her eyes. She was afraid. Not for herself. For him. He reached for her hand, gripping it tight. If I die fighting beside you. That's all I want. She squeezed back, strong as iron. We'll give them the war they came for. Inside, the wind howled and the rain came down in sheets. But in that battered house, two broken souls found something fiercer than fear. Something that felt for the first time like hope. And as midnight struck, the first flames lit the hills. Ballard was making his move. Thunder cracked as if the sky itself was warning Jack Mason to run. But he was done running. By dawn, Ballard's men would be here. And this time, they weren't coming to scare. They were coming to wipe Helena Blackwood and her ranch off the map. Helena stood at the window, shotgun across her arms, watching fire creep across the hills. Her jaw was set hard, but her hands shook just a little. The weight of every dead man, every night spent waiting, pressed into her bones. Jack moved her aside and laid a hand on her shoulder. She didn't look away from the fire. I count at least 15 torches, Jack said. He brought an army. He brought cowards, Helena said, voice low and lethal. They've never seen what a desperate woman can do. They moved through the dark house, barricading windows, filling buckets, checking ammo. Rain hammered the roof, but inside, the air was hot, tight, every shadow alive with memory. Helena paused at the old mantel, tracing her dead husband's name with one finger. Jack saw the ghost that lived here, and how she drew strength from their memory, not weakness. Outside, Ballard's men fanned out, surrounding the ranch. The flames at the edge of the fields crackled, smoke twisting through the wind. One man banged on the porch rail with a rifle, but shouting, "Come out, Blackwood! End this easy or we burn you out." Helena kicked the door open and stepped into the rain, lightning flashing on her blood-stained shirt. Jack followed, rifle steady. He could see Ballard in the torchlight. Slick hat, black coat, face twisted in a smug sneer. Ballard's voice was oily and loud. "Give up, Helena. This land's worth more than your life. Sign the deed or watch your new man die screaming." Jack stepped up beside Helena. "You want her, you come through me." The gunman laughed, but Ballard's eyes flickered. He'd expected fear. Instead, he got two figures back to back, daring him to try. A shot cracked. Helena barely flinched as the bullet grazed her side. She fired back, fast, relentless, dropping one of Ballard's men in the mud. Chaos erupted. Jack found cover behind a water trough, firing at shadows, heart racing with every muzzle flash. Rain soaked him, mud splashed his boots, but he didn't care. He wasn't running. Not ever again. Helena charged the porch, swung the butt of her shotgun into a man's face, then dragged him to the ground. Jack saw Ballard circle wide, gun drawn, moving for the barn. Jack sprinted, slipping on wet boards, crashing into the barn just as Ballard raised his pistol. They grappled, the gun going off wild. Jack's knuckles smashed into Ballard's jaw, but Ballard was bigger, fueled by years of greed and hate. He slammed Jack into a post, raising the gun to Jack's face. Suddenly, Helena's massive hand seized Ballard's wrist. With a roar, she wrenched the gun free, snapping his arm with a crack that echoed through the night. Ballard howled, falling to his knees. Helena's voice was ragged with pain and anger. "You killed my husband. You killed my men. You tried to take everything." Ballard spat blood, glaring up at her. "You can't kill me. Sheriff's with me. I own this county." Jack grabbed the drop gun, leveled it at Ballard's head. "You don't own us." Outside, the gunfire faded. The men, seeing their leader broken, dropped their weapons and melted into the darkness. Ballard, still on his knees, snarled, "You'll hang for this. You'll both hang." Helena knelt, her face inches from his. "No, we're done hanging for men like you." She rose, dragging Ballard into the dawnlight, rain washing blood and mud from his face. The townsfolk had begun to gather, drawn by the smoke and shots, standing at the fence line, seeing at last what had been done in the dark for years. Helena raised her voice, fierce and proud. "Here's your murderer. Here's the man who killed John Blackwood, who sent men to die for gold that was never his." Someone in the crowd stepped forward, a tired old sheriff, hat in hand, eyes down. "Helena, I'm sorry. I led him by my silence. No more. I swear it." Helena didn't answer. She just nodded, shoulders finally relaxing, the years of battle slipping away like mud in the rain. Jack watched as Ballard was hauled away, his rein broken. The people who'd once whispered about Helena now looked at her with something like awe. The ranch was battered, burned, but standing. So were they. Jack slumped on the porch steps, blood on his knuckles, soaked through and shivering. Helena sat beside him, silent for a long time. The rain softened. Dawn broke through the clouds, washing the world in gold. Helena reached over and took Jack's hand. "You broke the curse, cowboy." He managed a tired grin. "No, ma'am. We broke it. Together." She leaned against him, heavy and warm and alive. "You still want the job?" Jack squeezed her hand, watching sunlight spill across the wounded land. "As long as you'll have me." For the first time, Helena let herself smile, real and wide, brighter than the gold in the hills. As the townsfolk drifted in, offering food, help, and respect instead of fear, Jack and Helena looked out over the land they fought for. The ranch wasn't haunted anymore. It was home, built on blood and hope, and a promise never to let evil win again. And when the wind swept through the valley, it didn't bring fear. It carried the sound of two hearts, beating together, unafraid, unbroken, and finally free. That evening, as gold sunlight stretched over the wounded land, Helena and Jack stood at the edge of the pasture, boots in the soft grass, watching the cattle graze in peace for the first time in years. There were new scars on the house and on their bodies, but something else too, a quiet no storm could break. The townsfolk came in twos and threes, bringing bread, beans, and silent apologies. Some shook Helena's hand. Some just tipped their hats. But the old fear in her eyes was gone. Even the sheriff came by, leaving his badge on her porch. "Justice is yours now," he said. "You earned it." Helena's hand found Jack's, big and gentle, their fingers locking like puzzle pieces made to fit. "This ranch has been a graveyard too long," she murmured. "Now it's a place to live. Maybe even a love." Jack smiled, heart full for the first time since he could remember. "We built this together." Night fell and the wind swept the fields, but there was no longer any curse in the air. Only laughter inside the house. Only hope at the window. Only life, stubborn and beautiful, refusing to end. Because sometimes the deadliest place is the one where you find your reason to fight. And sometimes the curse breaks the moment two souls decide to stand and never run again. If you ever ride past Blackwood Ranch, Look for the giant widow and the stubborn cowboy. You'll know them by the way they hold each other. And by the way, Hope finally calls this place home. And if this story moved you, if you want more powerful tales of courage, hope, and survival in the Wild West, hit that subscribe button and turn on the channel notification bell. Don't miss the next adventure, because on this channel, every story could change a life, and the next one just might be yours. Thank you for watching.